I give you the Honorable Mayor Lena.
Good morning. So before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to thank the public officials that are here, city, state, county, who joined us this morning, as well as the staff, my staff, Mayor, Chamber of Commerce, our community partners, our business leaders, our property owners, and most importantly, many residents here. Thank you very much for your support. You know, together we make this city one of the most unique, charming, sometimes funny, always interesting, and oftentimes one of the quirkiest places to live and work. There is no place on earth like Spain. You know what, we like it that way. So that leads me to my next thought, how to sum up the state of the city in my time as mayor. A wise man by the name of Jerry Garcia once said in a song, "What a long, strange trip it's been." And here we are. This latest journey of mine began on July 25th, 2019, at 1:30 p.m. in City Council chambers. As I took the oath of office as the 34th mayor of the city of Scranton. By 2 p.m. that day, I walked from the second floor down to, which was my home for the last 5 years, by the way, down to the first floor of the mayor's office. I was welcomed by the very capable and talented staff of the mayor's office, Kay Garvey and Martin McNichols. I said goodbye to my family and friends. I found my way back into the mayor's inner office. I met with my city solicitor, Jessica Eskra. And for the next few hours, we kind of just got to work, making decisions that were made in the last 6 months. My 30-minute transition period was over. So I knew immediately this was not going to be unlike any experience I've ever had. And I knew right then and there that serving mayor was not about photo ops and ribbon cutting. This was going to be mine. So, it was very clear the next day I convened a cabinet meeting. I crossed the conference table in the mayor's office with the staff that was betrayed, tired, burnt out, and quite disillusioned. I had no choice. That was the hand I was dealt. So I challenged everyone in that room that day to change their story, change their legacy, and finish strong. Somehow, I was going to have to trust them, and they were going to have to trust me. And over time, I did, and they did. It's almost unprecedented in government to inherit an entire cabinet that was chosen by someone else. We had no choice but to make it work. The public needed reassurance that everything was going to be okay. Our citizens and employees needed to heal, and we all needed to move on together. So we took it one day at a time. Went to work every single day. So during the following week, I met with each cabinet member, not at the mayor's office, but at their place of work. I tried to meet almost every city employee over the next week, and for the most part I did. So we tried to write a news story. So over the next 60 days, it seemed like I was moving 100 miles an hour. I think everybody at City Hall felt that too. But remember, we only had my term was not measured in days, but weeks, and months, and years. So we had to get things done. Every single moment was important. By the time City Council returned for their August recess, we had 23 pieces of legislation waiting for them after the first meeting. If anyone thought it was going to be a placeholder, they were finding out that wasn't happening. So, for example, in the first 2 months alone, we established a police substation at City Hall. It was long overdue and necessary for the safety of employees and for the public that was visiting that building. We immediately changed the processes involving building permits to make it more efficient. Instead of taking 3 to 6 weeks for a permit, it now takes 2 to 3 days for a permit. We took down the barriers between the public and the employees, and we stopped taking cash and started accepting credit cards in the License and Inspection Department for the first time in the city's history. We released an RFP for a consultant to do a top-down review of the license and inspections department with an eye toward creating a more efficient, effective, and user-friendly department. Since then, the RFP has been secured, the legislation has been passed and the consultant has been hired. I would like to thank Tom Oleski, who's here today, the acting director of LIFS, for not only stepping up, but for creating a culture that has led to a much healthier workplace and one that employees can now thrive. We revamped the quality of life program by reducing fines from $150 in many cases to $25 and eliminating 60% of the unnecessary reasons for a ticket to be issued. We now focus on quality of life issues only. We established a door knocker program, giving property owners an opportunity to correct the problem before they even get a ticket. I then established the Mayor's Leadership Council, comprised of some of the very best business, government, and civic leaders in our community, and they are all Scranton residents. I charge them with generating ideas and that could be completed by the end of the year, or at least teed up for 2020. The idea of a downtown pop-ups they may have heard about or have seen was fostered by this group. It's a creative solution to a problem of 50 storefronts. It gives entrepreneurs an affordable opportunity to establish a bricks and mortar building during the holidays. It improves the aesthetic appearance of downtown and expands the footprint of downtown shopping. It's good for the economy, good for the community. We can continue to work with those partners to make this happen throughout the holiday season. The Leadership Council was also absolutely correct in pressing me to reinvigorate the Scranton Redevelopment Authority. So to that end, I added a new member of the SRA, and we will be committing substantial startup capital to get them up and running next year, hopefully with a part-time or full-time director. This could be a game changer in this community in 2020. The group also discussed our 10-year LRTA that's currently in effect, a result of our strong partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, and that continues today. It is our belief that this initiative will lead to a long-awaited renaissance in building in our city. There are currently 6 applications for this LRTA and more are coming in. Under the leadership of Mayor Scott Ward, the director of OECD, we have taken the extraordinary step of creating a single point of contact for LRTA and LRTA applications. No longer will those seeking help be left to wander around the halls of City Hall. Those days are over. I also established the Mayor's Art Council, and again I charged them with creating some doable ideas for this year that will possibly get started. I am a big proponent of public art. We honed in on 2 ideas that I felt could get done all along. One is turning the ugly traffic control boxes from downtown into something different, completely different. Currently covered with graffiti and stickers and flyers, our goal is to create mini murals using designs from local artists and converting them to vinyl and graphic traffic control boxes. We'll take them from eyesores to public art. Another idea is to create public art at crosswalks throughout the downtown. This project will not only create visual interest, but it will also enhance safety. Both projects could serve as templates as we move into our neighborhoods with projects just like that. To make this a reality, I met with our city grant writer, Maggie Perry, and we connected her with Scranton Tomorrow, and together we applied for a Bloomberg grant for $25,000. This grant is specifically designated for public art, just like we are proposing. The grant is due on December 12th, and we will meet that deadline. We hope to hear if we're successful by the first quarter of 2020. We then drafted legislation that funded the Beautiful Blocks program for a 2-year period. This program, administered by NeighborWorks, and Jesse's here today, thank you, Jesse, for being here, is based on a successful program that we discovered in Oswego, New York. Matching grants are given to homeowners up to $1,000 for exterior improvements to their properties. To qualify, the block has to get at least 5 other homeowners to participate. The program brings neighbors together to improve their own blocks, and it has made a major difference in 2019 and will in 2020. We expect to distribute about $125,000 in grant money this year that will be matched by homeowners for a total investment in our neighborhoods of at least $300,000. We anticipate the program will be self-sustaining in the future by enlisting nonprofits, foundations, and community reinvestment dollars through financial institutions. Now, moving beyond those 60 days, we continue to make progress in other areas. For example, we are moving the OECD Homebuyers Program outside of City Hall to a third party. In this case, again, it will be NeighborWorks. Over the last few years, the program has not been as successful as we would like. The percentage of homeowners in Scranton continues to decline. It is now at a 50% rate. That's a dangerous number to be at. So we have to do whatever we can to reverse that trend. We feel that NeighborWorks can help make that happen. They are the experts in homeownership and homeownership programs. The model we are adopting is consistent with successful programs throughout the country in other cities, and we cannot delay its implementation for a day. Our sustainability as a city is dependent on programs just like this. Now, as some of you may know, I am a preservationist at heart. Bob mentioned I used to be president and chairman of the Architects and Heritage Association in Evanston Park. So when I discovered there was $15,000 sitting in an unused account in OECD, and the funds were dedicated to historic preservation, I knew exactly where the money was going to be spent. Restoring the stained glass windows in the main entrance of City Hall. Now the estimates for restoration came in about $25,000, leaving us $10,000 short. So thanks to the generosity of our friends at the Architectural Heritage Association, who contributed the remaining funds we needed, this project is now moving forward. Now the beautiful stained glass windows that are literally falling out of their frames will be restored and backlit with LED lights. They will be a source of pride for the city and a reflection of our commitment to our historic municipal building. Now in the last few weeks, City Council passed legislation that I proposed creating a local downtown historic district. This legislation creates an overlay of the existing historic district and encompasses the entire downtown. Now, any exterior improvements to buildings in the downtown will be sent to the HARB, the Historic and Architectural Review Board, for review and recommendations. This legislation will also streamline the permitting process by no longer requiring a city council review. If the applicant and the HARB agree on the plans as presented. The applicant then proceeds directly to the License Inspection Department for the issuance of a permit. Now this simple change will reduce the potential delay of getting a permit to the applicant by 30 to 60 days. Now there are also significant economic and marketing benefits to creating this designation. Think of the impact of our downtown being rebranded as historic downtown Scranton. We have a great story to tell when it comes to our beautiful downtown architecture and our history. And now we have the legal authority to do it. Now at this point, I want to make a few comments about City Council. I'm not sure if anybody's here from Council today, but we'll say this. Back in July, 4 Democrats unanimously chose Republican to be the next mayor of the city of Scranton. Now if you think for a minute that was an easy decision, we don't know Scranton politics. But my former colleagues believe this was the right decision for the city. They made a conscious decision to proceed not by looking through a political prism, but by viewing things through the eyes of the average citizen. Once again, I'd like to personally thank Pat Rogan, Bill Vaughn, Tim Perry, and Kyle Donahue for their faith and unwavering support over the last 4+ months. I also want to commend them for selecting Mary Walsh Dempsey to fill my unexpired term. Mary has been a phenomenal choice, and I'm so proud that she now sits in my council seat that I sat in for the last 5 years. To move on to maybe something you guys would be interested in, the financial side of the city of Scranton. So we're entering into an agreement with the Tax Claim Bureau of Lackawanna County to collect delinquent property taxes. This initiative is long overdue. Another measure that will streamline the process and far more efficient than the current process right now. We continue to unwind the contract with NRS, and we expect the collection of the liquor refuse fees to be ready to be bid out sometime in the first quarter of next year, right? Mayor election. Okay. As we prepare for the next transition in city government, we're doing our best to set the stage for the future. And a large part of that is creating a viable budget for 2020. Our proposed 2020 budget is visionary, and it's certainly not for the faint of heart. If you are adverse to change at all, then this budget will likely push you out of your comfort zone. I happen to think that's a good thing. Because the status quo is not our friend. we are moving in a new direction. We are making dramatic changes in how we collect refuse fees by incorporating the fee into the tax bill and no longer sending out separate bills for collection. The new rate will be $250, $50 less than the current $300 refuse fee. Someone asked me once, why would you propose this? And my answer was simply, I have 16.8 million reasons why I propose this. So, we currently have a failed system. Instead of collecting refuse fees, we're collecting at a rate of around 65%. And we don't even know what 65% is what. We're not collecting from every rental unit, every single family home, or even everyone that should be paying. By shifting to the tax bill, we already identified who will be paying the fee. 22,323 approved parcels in Wisconsin, at an expected collection rate of at or near 90%. We're also proposing the elimination of the business privilege and the mercantile tax, the most archaic and regressive tax in existence today. Based on grocery receipts, this tax has chased untold thousands of small and large businesses out of our city, and has kept even more businesses from locating here in the first place. Its replacement, the payroll tax, is broader, more fair, far easier to collect, and have to be revenue neutral to beat the mercantile tax. Our proposed budget also calls for the restoration of the fleet coordinator position for the city. The coordinator will manage the city's vehicle fleet, oversee the vehicle and gas card usage policies that we implemented, by the way, and guide us through implementing the state-approved gas distribution system called CoStar. It will also be responsible to implement and oversee a proposed GPS system on city vehicles in 2020. Now, we are also proposing raises. Yes, we're proposing raises for non-unit positions and cabinet members. Now, I ask you to have to believe that if you can attract and retain quality people and talented people to government, you should actually give them what they have. So that's what the council as well in 2020. Our budget offers flexibility that will allow the mayor-elect to create some new positions, combine others, and make changes that she determines are necessary to fit the needs of her administration. If they may, I'm going to shift again back to where I started at the beginning of the journey. Now, you may recall I talked about the cabinet and staff and how I asked them to change their story and their legacy. And I met with them all again recently to thank them for stepping up and working hard every single day. I think we have changed the story. They could have checked out, but they didn't. They could have all moved on, but they didn't. So I'll always be thankful for their hard work and their trust. So again, I personally thank Chief Graziano, Mary Pat Ward, Tom Oleski, Kenny Gallagher, Brian Fallon, Wayne Beck, Frank Spinnicki, Kay Garvey, Mark Nichols, and Chief Sarno. Now, there are a couple people I left off the list, and I want to explain why. And they're not here today, which is for personal reasons. But Jessica Ashford is my city solicitor. She's also my deputy mayor. Dave Lozoni's the business administrator, and he's also the chief of staff. For the last 4+ months, we have been in step. Without those two on my side, I'm not sure if we can achieve any of the successes that I'm talking about tonight. This morning. This is not to diminish the efforts of anyone else in any way, but Dave and Jess, thank you for staying with me and at my side for this long, strange trip. Like everyone else was on my behalf and on behalf of the citizens of Scranton, again, I thank you enough for your loyalty, your dedication, your moral compass, and for your talents. Now, before I close, I want to also talk about what I mentioned earlier. Yes, this was a grind. But in retrospect, sometimes it was a beautiful grind. Sometimes it was an exciting grind. Sometimes it was a very, very frustrating grind. But I think that there's been some incredible moments during my time as mayor. I think maybe I enjoy the simple moments the most. The moments when you know you help someone who hasn't been helped before. The moments when you put another ribbon for a small business owner who saw the pride and the promise of entrepreneurship. Where you visited a school and saw our city's future through the eyes of our children. I also love the moments like the mayor's prayer breakfast and his message of inclusion, sharing time with veterans, and lighting the best holiday light display in decades at Nail Park. And the very next day, walking in the Santa Parade with my grandchildren. And a few days later, helping serve dinner to 1,600 families, Thanksgiving at the Cultural Center. And even the most difficult moments, like consoling the mother of a 13-year-old boy who was lost in a fire. And there are the other kind of moments, the other kind of life-changing moments, like giving the oath to a new fireman, or those getting a promotion. And I'll never forget performing my first marriage, and my second, and my third, and my fourth, and next week my fifth. And what an honor it is to be part of a couple's most important day. It really is an honor. And yes, it was a grind. I lost some sleep along the way, and maybe a little more than a lot, but a little sleep. And there was more than one occasion that I went home after a long, tough day at City Hall, and I said to my wife, I might need a hug today. He's always there. So, I had to support an entire city, and they gave me a lot of latitude to do what I thought was the right thing to do for our city. And I will tell you today, without a shadow of a doubt, every decision I made as mayor was based on what I believed was right for the city, period. So now my tour of duty will conclude in 31 days, but hey, who's counting? My long spring trip is almost over, and I'm proud of every moment and what we have accomplished together. The state of the city is strong. We have built a bridge from the turmoil of the past to a future that is beyond bright. Something that was in the making for decades, the city of Scranton will exit Act 47, distress that we had sometime in July of 2020, a day we should all celebrate together. And we also will have 2 new council members, Mark McAndrew, Jessica Rothschild, and I wish them all the best. I know they will serve our city well. And of course, our new mayor will be Paige Gephardt Cognetti. And I will tell you, starting a new administration that we all know will be historic. But more importantly, I know Mayor-elect Cognetti to be intelligent, caring, visionary, and prepared. We all want her to succeed. We all should do everything we can to make that happen. Now finally, something like this meeting for this, I would like to close by talking to you about my favorite saying. Back in February, when I was still on city council, I saw a posting on social media. There was a sign outside of the building on King Street in Sacramento, California. And it read, "Every day is your chance to make the city a little better." It was a time when we all needed a little hope. And quite honestly, from that moment on, I knew those words would be part of my future. So at every city council meeting from that moment on, I ended my remarks with that saying. At my swearing-in ceremony for mayor, they were the last words I spoke to all those people that gathered that day to welcome. And now, when anyone walks through the doors of City Hall, those words are there. So I know that they're simple words, but sometimes simplicity sometimes can give great strength in simplicity. I am where just 1 month ago. Still, I continue to repeat those words to myself when I enter City Hall each day as a reminder to myself of the work that remains. Every day is a chance to make the city a little better. So on January 6, 2020, I walk out of the front doors of City Hall as a private citizen and no longer the mayor of this amazing city. I just might turn around, take a glance over my shoulder, one last time, look at those words, smile.